So, hello and welcome back to another week of exploring Azeroth. I know it's Beryl that's up on the picture up there, but we're actually using Onyx again this week since we are exploring Tirisfal Glades, which is a horde territory, and I figured it would be better to use one of my horde characters so that we weren't getting attacked every 3 minutes. Not that it would be that big of a deal. This is more of a starting area, so everything is low level, but still, this way we can actually poke into some of the buildings. This might be a little bit longer episode of exploring Azeroth because a few of the areas that we're going to be looking at throughout this series have two phases, one that is in the past and one that is in the present. And to really get to poke into everything, you kind of need to see both phases of it. So we're going to be starting back in the past so we can look around. But the other reason this is going to be a little bit longer is because I started researching for this and found out all sorts of stuff that I didn't know about this zone. So I figured I would give you a little bit of history and then we'll kind of just do each little area and then we'll transition over and see exactly what happened with some of the in-game cutscenes to show why it is now in the state that it's in present day. So, with all of that babbling, let's jump in and visit with Onyx and hear a little history of Tirisfal Glades. Alright, so here is Onyx. She is waiting at the gates, well, at the boundary of Tirisfal Glades, but I figured I would read a little bit, and this is from Wowipedia. I looked through a whole bunch of different sites. There was a whole lot of history, but Wowipedia seemed to kind of gather it all together the best. So that is what I am going to be reading from. So, Tirisfal Glades, it's an eerie region found on the northern coast of Lordaeron. It was named after the Titan keeper Tyr, and it means Tyr's Fall in the Varukal tongue. It is the land of the Forsaken, and its wooded hills are seeped with the curse of Arthas, the Lich King's plague. It is a dangerous country that is not only overrun with Forsaken, and which is fine if you're on the Horde side, but it's also got all sorts of just undead and scourged and everything. Things that I didn't know, and maybe you did, is that the fireworks are going off again. It is the 4th of July today as I'm recording this, so. But this Tirisfal Glades is actually where humanity began on Azeroth. And this is way back in the dawns of time. And the Titans came to Azeroth, and they had all sorts of struggles and things, but they made these giant human looking things called the Varukal. And the Varukal eventually succumbed to the curse of flesh. And they started having babies that were small and weak and basically humans. They were cast out, and a group of them came to Tirisfal Glades because it was a sacred place to them, because it's where the Titan Tyr sacrificed his life to fight these horrific monsters called the Thoraxi. Okay? So that is an interesting little tidbit that I didn't know about. And then there was all sorts of interesting history. The humans eventually forgot all about all of this and they rose to power. The high elves came and had their own struggles with the humans, but eventually migrated north. And eventually these humans formed the Kingdom of Lordaeron. After who knows how long, the Kingdom of Lordaeron spread out, and this was just sort of almost a vacation land for the area around here. And, well, after a while, Arthas, the Lich King, arose and he betrayed his own father and killed him and unleashed the curse, the scourge upon Tirisfal Glades, turning it into what it is. I was going to say what it is now, but actually what it was during the first, what, 5 or 6 expansions of the game. And so that is the area that we are going to explore today, at least in the beginning, and then I'll show you the cutscenes, and we will take a look at what Lordaeron or Tirisfal Glades is like now. Alright, so our first little area that you come to as you go out through the Western Plaguelands is the Bulwark. It is the last bastion of defense against the Scourge, and it's just a little flight point. There's not a lot to it. It's got, a few places to replace your armor. It does have some really cool little graves down here. All of Tirisfal Glades is just littered with little graveyards and things, and that's where a lot of the Forsaken came from. The one I found interesting was this one over here that's open and looks like they're getting ready to just maybe resurrect this dude. Maybe. We'll see. Also, you can see in the distance, as always in a Forsaken area, we have a lot of plague things. So now we're gonna fly on over to the first really interesting thing that I found, which is the Balinar farmstead. This is where Arthas's beloved horse Invincible was foaled. Now, again, it's mostly in ruins. You've got bleeding horrors and wandering spirits all around, but you can see it was a really nice little house, cute little garden. Got the stables over here. But what I never knew about until I started Googling and researching and flying around and doing all of that is over here you have this open grave. And I never really thought much about it. It's got the flies kind of circling around it, but it's got this saddle over here. And if you go up to this grave and click on it, you can read Invincible, beloved steed of Prince Arthas Menethil. I probably said that wrong. I'm not going to edit it. Loyal and great of heart in life, may you find peace in death, pure streams and green pastures, devoted friend. So that is what Arthas carved on his beloved horse's grave, and then he buried him. And then later on, when he became the Lich King, he came back and he dug up his beloved horse and he resurrected it into undeath with him. And you can now, if you're very, very lucky, get Arthas's undead horsey in a dungeon after you kill the Lich King, Arthas. Unfortunately, I do not have that mount. I have never been lucky enough to get it. Alright. Our next little area that we're going to go to, I can't believe that they're actually lighting off fireworks. It's been raining all day. Like, literally raining all day, and they're just having a blast. Now, one group of humans that still occupies Tirisfal Glades is the Scarlet Crusade. They're sort of the religious zealots of World of Warcraft, and they are constantly at war with, honestly, just about everybody. They're not only at war with the Horde, they're not only at war with the Forsaken, they are also at war with anyone who does not believe as they do. They really are sort of the religious zealots. And later on, probably next week, I am going to do another dungeon episode. And I think we're going to do um, all of the dungeons that are up here in the Scarlet Monastery. But until then, we will just kind of poke around the outside a little bit. Now, a couple of years ago, one of my friends sent me a message over Discord and let me know that there was a hole that unfortunately has been patched by the World of Warcraft developing team. But we were able to get into a really cool area that's up above this area that you're not supposed to be able to get into. And it was really neat. And darn it, I wish that I had all of the recording stuff back then because it was a lot of fun. And they have managed to patch the hole so you can no longer get back there. I think it was Kel'Thalas, and it was just all sorts of cool stuff. Unfortunately, like I said, I've never been able to do it again. I'm pretty sure that the World of Warcraft developers sort of patched that hole. But let me look up and see if there's anything truly fascinating about the Scarlet Monastery. There probably is, so let me look that up really quick. Alright, so the Scarlet Monastery. It is a fairly interesting little place, but we'll just kind of cruise through it really quick. Like I said, we're going to next week do both of the dungeons that are in there. I think back in the olden days of World of Warcraft, there actually were 4 dungeons that were in here, but it's been reduced to 2 in the ensuing years. But the Scarlet Monastery is one of the last strongholds in the world that belonged to the fanatical Scarlet Crusade. The Scarlet Crusade was once a proud bastion of Lordaeron's priesthood, a center for learning and enlightenment. With the rise of the undead scourge during the Third War, this peaceful monastery was converted into a stronghold of the fanatical Scarlet Crusade. The Crusaders are intolerant of all non-human races, regardless of their alliance or affiliation. They believe that any and all outsiders are potential carriers of the undead plague and must be destroyed. In fact, the overseer of the Scarlet Crusade's own daughter was raised as a undead, and he cast her out because she was impure. So that's Lillian Voss, who we actually fought against over in Stratholme, and we will see her again as time goes on. So that is where we are with that. So on to the next area. Our next little area is Brightwater Lake. It was actually once a very favored recreation area for the nobles around Lordaeron, pre-Scourge days. It, way back in the past, was taken over by a dark presence. Excuse me while I just babble like an idiot for a few minutes, but that's okay. But yeah, Brightwater Lake. It was 2,600 years ago, and a family owned land living near a keep, and a dreadlord infected the area. The first guardian of Tirisfal battled this demon on a small island, which is this little island right here. It was also a popular site for recreation, and this is, I do believe, where you can find the fishing trainer if you are on the Horde side and just starting off in this area. Also, just little fun fact that I just read, back in the year 24, the Death Guards had to shut down the kids' summer camp because there were psychos wearing masks near the lake. Cute little thing that I didn't know about, little trivia fact. You gotta love Wowopedia for things like that. But yeah, this is Gunther Arcanus. He will give you some quests to maybe help him out a little bit. There's also a silvered treasure chest that I'm betting I can't open because I'm not Beryl. Oh, nope, we could. Hey, we got 13 copper. That is always helpful when you are just starting out, but then again, you would have to battle your way through all these hungering undead, which is never the most fun thing to do. Now, you can also come over here and see the shambling horrors, and like I said, I'm pretty sure, but not 1,000% sure, that somewhere on the shores of this lake is the fishing trainer. So if you're actually playing World of Warcraft and looking for a fishing trainer, I think he is on this lake somewhere. I'm going to feel like somebody is making a liar out of me, but it would only be me making a liar out of me, so that's okay. Anyway, so that is Brightwater Lake. As you can see, the waters are no longer bright. Everything is a little bit on the disease side, and we are headed off to the next place. Alright, we are now in the lovely little town, well, lovely for undead, little town of Brill. And I am going to actually move a little faster than a slow walk. This is where, if you are on the Horde side, you can learn to ride. You can also buy all of these spiffy little undead horses and put them in your mount collection. And you can learn the various professions and things through here. There's also a statue of the Horde leader Sylvanas, and, which I didn't ever notice until I started poking around in here, there's actually a cute little place, not the inn, because for whatever reason the inn does not have a single bedroom. Also, I love the art on these walls. It kind of almost looks like a shrine to whoever that dead dude is. The decor that the Forsaken seem to have is a little creepy, but hey, you know, they're dead. What are you gonna do? But there is actually a bedroom, so I'm gonna count this as a house. And I don't know that I had ever gone upstairs in this place because there really isn't any other reason to poke around in here, but hey, I found a bedroom. There's a couple little things here in this town, like I said. Not a lot. It's your basic just starter town. The local inn has got some amazing art on the walls. If I can zoom in here and actually see it, we've got your, what's it called? American Gothic, only redone with Forsaken. You've got your little rotten windmill. The cute picture of Lordaeron in ruins, because that is the way they like it. And another one just of the local scenery. I thought that was kind of neat. And then one other thing here, which was over here, and that is just sort of a magey type area. You've got all your little stuff going through here. Also, if you run around, there is, as is typical for a Forsaken area, a really big graveyard. Can't really poke into any of the crypts, which is, I guess, too bad. No unique graves that I've found, just kind of a graveyard. You've got some little battle pets, which are these little lost of Lordaeron, little lost souls and things. And that is about it for the town of Brill. Now, we already went through the Undercity, so we won't go back through that again, but we will go around over here and just check out a couple of the other little towns. Pretty much everything in this area is just sort of dead. I mean, the Scourge plague came through and it took out darn near everything. You've got Stillwater Pond over here. Not too much doing with it, but just a lot of questing areas. Now, we will go over and check out the starting area for the Forsaken. It's called Death Knell, and it's kind of cool. There's a couple other little farms. They look pretty much like all the rest of them around here. They're pretty dead and pretty blighted out, so you can't really do a lot of... I mean, I guess you could do a lot of roleplay if you're into it, but not many actual houses. This is where Death Knell, where if you are a new Forsaken, this is where you wake up. This is where you do your initial questing. And we will see Lillian Voss. She is not very happy over here, because this is where you first meet her, as she has just been woken up as a undead. So you gotta feel for her. She's not really happy. She definitely is not enjoying being an undead. Now, when you run around in here, one thing that I thought was kind of cute is you've got this Pandaren, and the leather armor merchant keeps feeding her who knows what. And you can see her name is Ting, Strong of Stomach. So obviously she has gotten a reputation for herself. She should be a pile of bones and slime, strong of stomach indeed. Also, you gotta love these undead with their no jaw and tongue hanging out. I'm not sure how many humans actually have a pointed tongue, but a lot of the Forsaken definitely have the pointy tongues. Also, another bedroom upstairs, and this is where you meet Lillian Voss. She's not really doing too good. What is it you ask? She says, "Get away from me, monster. Don't look at me. I'm hideous." She has a lot to do with a lot of the different quest lines in World of Warcraft, and it's kind of, again, tragic. Now, not every Forsaken doesn't have a jaw. She obviously does, so... Anyway, you can run around through the kind of burned out town through here. Not really burned out, just ruined. And see a lot of Scarlet Crusader corpses and various things like that. So that is about it for Tirisfal Glades in the past. There's a few other areas, but they all pretty much look like this. So now what I'm going to do is show you a couple of the cutscenes. It's about 5 or 10 minutes of what happened, and then we're going to transition over to Beryl, because Onyx isn't a high enough level to actually see what it's like in the present day. So hang on and we will watch that.
It's over, Sylvanas! The walls of Lordaeron will soon come crashing down around you!
You have no idea what you're up against, Boy King. We've only just begun.
I've never seen anything like it! Anything made can be broken. Gen, follow me!
Prepare the blight! Let it rain down upon their armies!
There must be another way, War Chief.
This is no time for sentiment, High Overlord. War demands that we take a more direct approach.
It's killing her own troops.
The Blight has broken our ranks!
Our assault has been for nothing.
What now?
Alliance! Forward! China! The wall!
We end this now.
You abandoned Sauerfang to die out there!
It is the death he wanted. If that troubles you, you're free to join him. Or you can tend to the living. The choice is yours.
For the Horde.
You know what must be done. Go, my champion. Look at you. The boy's playing soldier.
Our king just routed your army!
Muzzle your dog, your majesty.
Sylvanas Windrunner, you have led the Horde to a place without honor. Lordaeron is ours. It's over.
Your father would be so proud. Is that his? You've gotten it all bloody.
Only one of us wanted this war.
You call for peace when it suits you, little lion. But you're quick enough to kill.
I should have killed you when last we met.
How rude, sister. You're a guest in my home.
Your home? You desecrate that throne with your filth!
Enough!
You put the torch to Teldrassil. But I failed those who burned. I will not make that mistake again. Surrender. Or die.
You've won nothing.
Alright, so after that compilation of cutscenes, we are back with Beryl again, going over to look at what remains of the area that we just were in with Onyx. Here we're at Brightwater Lake, where you can see pretty much everything has died that was not already dead. But as we go into the area close to the town of Beryl, you can see everything is just burned out, completely in ruins. The remnants of the battle, the remnants of the soldiers. A little bit tragic. Sylvanas completely decimated her own army and the Alliance army. And everything is now just kind of blighted and completely dead. The city of Lordaeron, this capital city, Undercity, is in ruins. I don't even think you can actually touch down in it anymore, because you'll get poisoned. Not exactly the best of all situations. One last thing that I just found out about, and just found, if you remember back in the Undercity video, I took you over to the Whispering Grove and to the lake and the really cool little fairy grove with all the fairy dragons and the singing, and they're actually still there. You can still go there and still see all of them, and they will still do their little song. But what I found out about is there is actually an area under the lake, and it is where the Great Titan Tyr actually was buried back who knows how long ago, and where his the person he was, well, not person, but the being he was fighting against is also, or was also, buried. He's not there anymore. So I am going to take you there, and we are going to swim under. Like I said, I can't do this with Onyx because she is not quite high enough of a level. But if you remember, when we visited with Onyx, we saw the living rats, and we saw the airplane that was under here, which is still there. But we also saw this area that was over here that was just sort of put down as, I don't know what this is. Well, if you come and visit it back in the present time, you will see that the underwater passage is now open, and you can swim down through it past all the little fishies, and you can go over here, just keep swimming like Dory, and you are now in the vestibule of the Silver Hand, which is an order that was dedicated to the Titan Tyr and his noble pursuits. And you can swim on up into the vestibule of the Silver Hand and kind of check it out a little bit. It's kind of neat. There's really, I mean, there's nothing to do here. I think if in the Legion expansion, if you were a Shadow Priest or a Paladin, you could actually get in here back then, and there were quests for you and stuff. But now, you can just come up here to the Tomb of Tyr, check out the cool architecture. You can see the symbol of the Silver Hand, which is, I guess, all that was left of the Titan. You can come up here and see the symbol of the Silver Hand, and then go through one more little passage back here along the Dark Walk. It's just it's another one of those just cool little things that I really get a kick out of finding that I didn't know was there. And now that I do, I figured I would share. But this is the grave prison of, can I actually say that? Zakaj? Gotta love these names. I am not the best at pronouncing things, so But you can see this was his grave, this was his prison, but there is nothing here but broken chains. So maybe we will find out more about what happened there. But until then, that is probably where I'm going to leave you. Next week, I think I'm going to do the Scarlet Monastery with Onyx again, because Beryl's done it so many times that the quests are no longer there, and I thought it would be fun to do it with the quests. So, thank you as always. Hope you don't mind that this one was a little bit longer. I tried to kind of abbreviate it and just give you the highlights of Tirisfal Glades. I'm sure that there is plenty of stuff that I missed. If there's anything that I missed that you know about, drop it into the comments below, and maybe one of these days I'll do a The Things I Missed in Eastern Kingdoms video, because like I said before, I think every time I do these, I find a few more things that I'm like, oh man, I should have gone back and shown this, or I should have done this. So I'm trying to get better every time, but leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week as we rejoin Onyx and go through the Scarlet Monastery dungeons. Until then, have a wonderful week, and I will see you later.